Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have a 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander. We'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the Mitsubishi Outlander, and this is the 2025 ES. So this is just the base model Outlander, but you wouldn't know it when you're behind the wheel. There's a lot of great equipment in here and style on the outside, and it only gets better from here. So let's talk about some updates for the 2025 model. Now, one big thing with the refresh would be on the outside of the vehicle. As well, they also kind of retune the suspension to be a little bit smoother when you're out on the road. Now, another really cool thing in here is the standard Yamaha sound system. When you've got your wireless Apple CarPlay paired up or your wireless Android Auto, it makes such a big difference having a great sound system in here. I think that is a pretty sweet upgrade for 25. Now, one other thing they did for the 25 model year, they kind of changed this center storage area just a little bit to give you a little bit more room. So the center console is really nice. I love the layout of the cup holder and just a nice convenient little area for your phone. Okay, so now that we got the changes for 25 out of the way, let's put it in drive. We'll go for a spin around, touch on some of the other features. Let's begin with what powers the Mitsubishi Outlander. Now, it's a 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine, gives you about 181 horsepower, but the big thing is you can get it standard with front-wheel drive, or you can do the optional all-wheel drive like the one we have here today. Now, we're late into fall, just about to go into wintertime, and having the all-wheel drive, because if you are tackling those Minnesota winters, it's gonna help you get the best possible bite and traction. Yeah, you're not sacrificing a lot when it comes to fuel economy. These are still rated at 30 mpg on the highway, which is pretty impressive for a vehicle that can haul 7 people. Yes, you heard me correct. This is actually a 7-passenger vehicle, and something that's basically the same size as most crossover SUVs. I think this is one of the only ones left that actually gives you a third row. It's not the biggest third row ever. I'm 6'1". I wouldn't really want to spend a lot of time back there, but if you got the kids, growing family, need something in a pinch, it can certainly help you out that way, or you can just keep the seats folded down and have plenty of storage space. Now, what's really nice with storage in this vehicle, actually under the floor, you can store the headrest for the third row if you do have it down, but if you're not using that, you can keep stuff out of sight back there with that little extra storage, or kick the third row down, even kick the second row down. Just gives you lots of options for hauling if you're not hauling people with you. Now let's touch on the exterior of the Outlander. So there's a bunch of different trim levels all the way up to the Platinum or the Trail, which is kind of the off-road version of the Outlander, but I think it's a pretty sharp looking vehicle. This one up front will have just kind of the base grille, but you do get the LED headlights up front there. It's got a cool LED daytime running light that runs through the vehicle. It does look really good and just kind of gives a sharp appearance to the front of the vehicle. Now, beyond that, this one will have the 18-inch silver wheels, so there is going to be a handful of different wheel options depending on which one you're looking at, but I think it kind of fits this. This silver is actually really nice on this Outlander. Not all silvers are equal, and I think this is a really good silver that does complement the vehicle, and you can even kind of two-tone if you want to add the option to do the black roof to the vehicle. There's just lots of cool styling options through the Outlander lineup. Now, looking at the interior, like I said, having a third row capability is pretty cool. That's one of those things that maybe you don't know you need it until you kind of absolutely do, but if you got the family, like I said, the kiddos are gonna be more than happy back there, and the second row actually slides. So one thing that's really cool, if you have the car seat in the second row, you don't actually have to unhook it to access that third row. You can pull the handle, actually kick and slide the seat forward, or if there is no car seat in there, you can fold down the seat flat, like I said, and have a pretty large cargo area. Now, in the second row, there's going to be vents and just like a little storage cubby down there. So if you got the kids or the dogs, everyone's going to be happy. And there is a surprising amount of headroom. Like I said, the third row is a little small, but that second row where I drive comfortably here at 6'1", I think this is some of the most headroom out of any new car I've driven in quite a long time. Now, let's kind of hop out on the highway here. We'll put our foot down. You know, it just kind of winds up and goes. It's not the fastest vehicle ever, but really I'll take the trade-off for having the great fuel economy over maybe having the turbocharger or a 6-cylinder. I think 95% of the time, this is gonna be more than enough to get you up and get you moving on the highway. So like I said, they did make some of those changes to the suspension, and it's pretty noticeable. If you drive the previous gen and hop into this one, they also, I think, added a little bit different sound deadening in here. So cruising at about 55 down the highway here, it's quiet, it's comfortable, and from the driver's seat, that's probably where you're gonna wanna be. So this is actually a cloth seat, but it's heated. So again, kind of tackling those Minnesota winters, like I said, the all-wheel drive and having a heated cloth seat. In the summertime, the leather doesn't get so hot, the cloth stays nice and cool, and then in the winter, it actually heats up really quickly. So 3-level heated seats for both the driver and the passenger. And this seat, you can kind of pump yourself up or down, and I found being able to get really comfortable right away is pretty nice. Now, a few other things in here, like I said, this display is awesome. The infotainment screen in here is lightning fast. It's very similar if you spent any time in the Nissan Rogue. You're gonna find a lot of similarities between these two vehicles, but this is pretty cool. It actually works so quickly. There's no lag in the screen, and I paired the Apple CarPlay in here. It just works. Text messaging, Google Maps, Spotify, it's all built into there. You can also use the onboard maps. I think it's a TomTom setup in there, which is pretty cool. They probably figured most people are probably gonna use their phone. So it just is so simple, and there's, like I said, not all the screens are the same, kind of like the silver color on the outside. Some of them are a little laggy, a little slow, but this just works. It gives you everything you want, and there's a great backup camera in there as well. Plus, in the digital gauge cluster, we've got parking sensors. So this does have emergency braking, blind spot monitoring. There's a bunch of safety built into these vehicles, and maybe you can't quite see behind you. Like I said, you got the third row up, all the kids in here, everyone's yelling. The Mitsubishi will be looking out for you, even if you can't quite see what's going on. So now back to this little digital gauge cluster. It's pretty cool. There's like 6 or 7 little menus in there, so you can keep track of your fuel economy, your tire pressures if you want to look at that. It'll kind of give you the little nav with a little weather symbol down there, which is pretty cool also. And then just your music, and then like I said, a few of those safety things. But there is another button you can click here, go to driver assistance, scroll down, and you can shut any of that stuff off. So if you don't want the lane departure, blind spot, the emergency assist, you simply just click on it, shut it off, and it's gone, and you don't have to deal with it from there. I mean, the ride and drive is great. Like I said, the big improvements to the suspension and some of the sound deadening in here, if you've driven an older Mitsubishi, or maybe you're currently driving one and you really like it, it's only better from the older ones. It's a great little vehicle that, again, gets great fuel economy. I think some of the style and tech is good on the outside. Like I said, for the base model, if we're looking at MSRP on this particular one, it does have a few little options and then the all-wheel drive, but you're looking at about $34,000. And right now, with a few of the discounts that are going on, we're just over 30 grand. That's about $20,000 less than the average new car price. I mean, there's not a lot of third row SUVs on the market that are gonna come in at $30,000 for something that's brand new. And Mitsubishi offers a 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. That means you're gonna be on the road for many years to come, and as long as you're keeping up with your scheduled maintenance, you're not really worrying about anything. That's a huge benefit and load to take off your mind if you're thinking, is my vehicle gonna need service? Is it broke down? I mean, just getting a brand new vehicle with that long of a warranty is pretty awesome. So overall, I like the tech, I like the safety built into this, I like the usability if you did need that third row. I also like the cloth seats. They're comfortable in here. There's the control down below, so you can actually kind of move the lumbar in and out, which is really nice for the driver's seat. I mean, I think this is definitely one you're gonna wanna add to the list. Come out, take for a spin, and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 25 Mitsubishi Outlander. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at Walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.